Hello, good evening, good morning. What time are you watching this show? I know we're really having a hard time doing this project, our virtual project. I just want to share how I did mine. I don't know. I hope this will help you on understanding how to do our project. Without further ado, let's start on what we're supposed to be doing. So, As you can see, my batch is batch 919. So we have given different batches and you should all know about that part already. So the first part that I want to tell you is first, as Sincha Kolovas told us, we need to choose 100 patients. So right now you can see that I actually have 100 patients over here already, and it's color coded. The color coding is just for me to know, and it's gonna help me out later on how I'm gonna find things in this presentation. But the color coding or the highlighting doesn't really matter. This is just my personal preference and my saying there. I have legends. Green for me is just like answering number one, and then which means that contains those green only has either morbid obesity, malnutrition, overweight, underweight, and then the yellow one is when it's already mixed with the hypertension, the gallstone, the sleep apnea, and the such things. And then the blue one is just like for question number two also. And then the orange one for me is the when it's mixed. It's like on both page in the both patient it has type 2 diabetes plus hyperlipidemia and such thing. But just like I said, the legends and the color coding doesn't really matter. What really matters is the next steps that I'm gonna tell you later on. So first is like I said, we start on having 100 patient. And then once we finish all of those 100 patients, you already have those 100 patient, you can actually delete the other cells that is not relevant. So that's like I said, I have 100 patients over here already, so we're good with that. And how you choose for 100 patient is there's actually a lot of uh, ways to do that. But one of the other ways that you're gonna check for that is when you're using a MacBook, you can do Command F, or that's how you do find. Or if you're doing a Microsoft, if you have a Windows computer, you can use Control F, and that will open the Find menu, and it will help you find those diagnoses. Let's try it right now, actually. So I'll just click on anywhere else, and then I'm gonna try Control Find, and you see mine is in there. So it's gonna search as heat. What we're gonna do in there is actually we're gonna find those diseases that are in number one and number two. So question number one and number two. For example, we're gonna say morbid obesity, and then I type it in and then enter. And first, it's gonna tell me the first morbid obesity, and I'm gonna tell you about more about this later on. This part, this graph, because this is another essential thing that we have to do. But as you can see in there, there's an arrow in there, and that's what gonna tell you where are the morbid obesity, or where are the patients that has morbid obesity. So if you just click on those things, it should show you where the morbid obesity are, and it's gonna tell us where we can find those things. So that one, just like that, it showed me where the morbid obesity in there and such thing. And it actually won't work on right now. But for example, just like this one, it's supposed to be showing me this morbid obesity. This patient has green, just like I told you in my legend. This one has a morbid obesity. So it will show in here that has morbid obesity in there. So it has morbid obesity. It will highlight in there. And that's actually how are you gonna find all of those diseases. So try to find 100 patient that has those diagnoses, whether it's morbid obesity, overweight, underweight, hyperlipidemia, diabetes, hypertension, and those such things. And that's how you're gonna find all of those 100 patient. So that's how you do it. First, those are the first step you have to do. Find 100 patient. And make sure, just like what Cynthia Kolovas is saying, is make sure that you will try to find more um, patients that has CMS DRG that's coming from 192, 293, 684, 293, 379, and such thing. Because and then the otherwise it's 872. We don't want a lot of 872, but in my case, I mean, sometimes you cannot really choose a lot. Some of the diseases, it all really just comes to 872, which is okay. But as long as you balance it out, because I asked Dr. Mercado about this, I asked Cynthia Clovas about this, and it's okay. Actually, if you're gonna look at mine thing here, it's like I'm just gonna go to one of my sheet. I mean, this is just an advanced thing. On my patient total, if you're gonna see in there, I have 54 872s in there, and then the rest probably around 46 coming from the sum of 195, 293, 379, 684, and such thing. But this is not that relevant. So, but I'm just one telling you is like try to find more from the other CMS DRG other than 872. So once we're done with that, looking for all of those patients, when we have all of the 100 patients, you can do what I did, just like make distinguish it, which one goes to number one, which one goes to number two or number three, and such things. And that's up to you, as long as you find your 100 patient. The next one I'm gonna tell you is this is one of the important things that I do it, because when doing data analysis, obviously what we needed are data. Then we can analyze these things. So now I actually added this extra columns which I named these things, the diseases that we're trying to find. So I named one column morbid obesity, one about obesity, one overweight, one for underweight, one for malnutrition, one for hypertension, one for sleep apnea, one for diabetes, one for hyperlipidemia, one for infertility, and one for gallstone. So this is the next step you're gonna do. Try to make columns, or for me, I try to make columns for all of the diseases or the diagnosis that we're trying to find. And then the next one is actually gonna pertain to the next question. Remember in the question number three, just like I said in there, question number three, it's asking for how many diagnosis has nutritional BMI, which is on, or the percentage of how many nutritional BMI has that. So I also put a column for that nutritional BMI, and later on we're gonna plot those datas. And then the next one is how many. I think this is number four, or I think it's the next questions. Is how many are the percentage of the documented nursing BMI only? The next one is how many is the documented nutritional BMI only? And then the next one is how many are documented for both nutrition nursing. Next one is documented neither nursing and nutritional. And then the next ones are, the BMI question, because we have this question about BMI that's less than 18.6, BMI that is 30 to 34, BMI that's 35 to 39, BMI 40 or higher, and BMI greater than 60. These are important columns because later on, when you have all of this column, you know where to put all of the things that the diseases has. And this will actually help us how to do the pivot table or the pivot table later on. It's like when all of those things, if you see, I mean, mine has, it's like mine is already a finished product actually. That's why I'm actually doing this thing to help you out, most of you, because I already have finished. I submitted this to Dr. Mercado and he already gave me the approval. He said this one is okay already and this one is a right answer. But this one, I don't know if it will help you out. So as you can see in here, actually chose it that way. For example, this one, this patient has is from 872. I don't have a choice. It's just like 872. Another way to actually do this is you have to really just look it up. And and I told you, for me, I can actually distinguish them and I do it little by little. I do it actually by color. So just like for me, I'm trying to look for number one question. So that one will always just pertain to the yellow ones and the green ones actually. So how will I do that is actually I'm just gonna filter it out. So I'm just gonna click this arrow and then it's gonna be still select all because it depends what CMSDRG in there. And then I'm gonna change the filter by color in there by cell color. And then for example, I'm gonna try green. And that's it. It's gonna be green for a while. And then that's the time that I'm gonna choose where the diseases are. So for this one, I'm gonna click the first one. It's from 379. And another way is actually before I get to that point is there's some part there that is not really needed. Just like you can hide them for a while. You can hide them for a while. Just like this one, we don't need this facility for a while because we're just looking for the information on how if the patient has that kind of disease, morbid obesity or something. So what we can do with that is you can just click one of this one and then click on the filter. Oh, actually, it doesn't work with that. Sorry. So we actually click for this one. Just like click on the letters A, B, C, D or whatever, and then right click on it. And then it will say hide. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hide it for a while because we don't need that. This one too, we can hide this because we don't need that. Batch number, I don't need that for a while, so we can hide that for a while. And then this one, we don't need that also, so we can hide that also. I mean, it depends on you. I mean, you can hide this, but for me, it's easier for me to hide all of these things for a while because I don't need them. It's just gonna help me out later on to be better to do it. So it's like that. That one, I hide all of those for a while. And now we're actually looking for the plotting. This is an example. So we're gonna plot up this one. So we're gonna look at this one from number 25 from 379. If this one has any of the diseases that we needed. So this is green. So I'm trying to look at what it has. So this one is said it has morbid obesity. So that means we have to put number one or a one on the morbid obesity, just like I said in there. So there's a one in there. And the same thing with with the other one. So this one, the next patient actually after looking it up, this one also have morbid obesity, I think. So let's take a picture. So yeah, this one has a morbid obesity, so I already put one in there too. So it's the same thing with the other one. So yeah, that one, so that one. So this one and this one has obesity or something. And those are the other one that has those kind of things. So pretty much that one is self-explanatory in there. We're gonna look it up. So me now, I'm gonna change to another color. So let's see. Still select all. Okay, I selected it all. The other one showed up. So it should be hidden actually. But anyways, it's all right. We're doing it the other way anyways. So choose color. We're gonna choose a color again by color, cell color. Let's try going for the blue one, the number two question. Let's close this up again. So let's see. Let's click on the first one. Oops, sorry. Let's click. Oh, it's not working right. So let's just click on this one. So this one has a type 2 diabetes. I can just go in there, just say, okay, just click on that one. So like that one, see, that's a number one in there. Type 2, the have diabetes. It's either it's type 1 or type 2, but pretty much you're not gonna see any type 1 in there pretty much. Or actually, I actually recommend not getting a family history that much. Just focus on the main thing. It's either one, diabetes or any those kind of things. And you're actually gonna notice that most of the things you won't see the overweight, the underweight, the sleep apnea, the infertility, and the gallstone. But that's okay. I still put them in there because that will help us to actually go later on our pivot table to see that, oh, that one doesn't have a percentage. So that's what I'm gonna do later on. So that with that in mind, so all of these things, for example, you finish everything in there, you already plotted all of the information, you already put datas in there. Sorry, all the datas, it's completed. You know where how many people or how many sorry how many patient has diseases, have the diagnosis, how many has hypertension, how many have all of those kind of things, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so see, I'm just gonna select all. I'm just gonna return all of the things again. All right, so and the other one showed up, but it's okay because there's some things that I actually hidden them already, but I don't know, mistakenly they showed up. But it's like it's really important you already put all of this things already, so you won't get confused. That's why that's the purpose of highlighting, because sometimes when you click something, the other irrelevant one is just gonna show up. But it's okay. I mean, me, I didn't delete it. I just hidden them a while ago. But you can actually delete them by just clicking all of those things, like clicking on the six, like for example, six, click six, and then just right click on it and just say delete. You can just delete that cell because that's not relevant anymore because it's white. We already just really just do the yellow ones or the one that are highlighted. So just like I said, those are all plotted already. Now we're gonna check on what I'm saying is how are we gonna do this on a pivot table. So one of the other ways that you're gonna put this is first is what I do is first is like I'm gonna do select all because that's a major part in there. You need to select them all. How you do it is like on a Windows you do Control A, on a MacBook you do Command A. So let's gonna do that. So let's Command A on there, and we're doing the pivot table already. So let's do this way. I think then I'm gonna do my Command A again. So now pivot table is actually on insert, and then you're gonna see pivot table in there, and I'm gonna do an empty one. So this one is gonna ask, just like I said, that's why I want you to go and select them all, because it will just tell you this actually pre-select all of the main sheet. So I called it main sheet, by the way, our main sheet, because it's our batch number. So it's just gonna pre-select everything in there from all of the cells that we use and rows and columns. And then it's gonna ask us to do a new worksheet. It will show us another one of this kind of things in there, and it will make a new one. So once we're done with that, we're gonna click OK. So now, see, we have this sheet in there. I'm actually just gonna make this bigger so we can see. So you can see better too. Okay. So see what I'm showing on. So yeah, that's good enough. So now this is gonna be relevant on answering the other questions. The pivot table, obviously, the pivot table is the one we're gonna use to answer up the question. So to make it better, it's easier actually. How I did this is I click on that when because this field will just show up. So for example, we're gonna do the facility. This is actually gonna help you in number 8. So I'm gonna click on facility. So you said in there, it's actually showing up over here. but let's not put it in there. We're gonna put facility actually in rows, and you will later on see it showed up facility over in there already. So that's what it is. It's gonna facility later on. It's gonna be pre-populated from facility A to facility H. Now we're gonna go to values. What we're looking for is the value of how many people has morbid obesity and how many of those people have those diseases. So what we're gonna do is, since you already have plotted all of the information that we needed, we're just gonna click on this one, morbid obesity. Okay, see? It's showing up how many on the sum of morbid obesity, that one saying that facility A has 1, facility B has 0, 3, or it doesn't. And then click on those wins, obesity. And this one is just gonna pre-populate it. See? Gonna pre-populate all of these things. And me, I just put all of the graphs from 1 and 2 in there, so it's just gonna show up in there. So as like I said, this one will help us on number 1. And see, if the thing didn't go up, we need to drag the things. So the values, you don't have to do anything on the columns, should be values. The important part is the facility and the values over here. See, it's just showing how many, the sum of the morbid obesity, the sum of the obesity, and that will help us. We'll just close this up. So you're gonna show up those kind of things. So see, it will show up how many have those diagnoses. Actually, this one actually pertains to the percentage. We actually already have this part already in there, but I'm showing you up how to make a pivot table. So that's how I made the pivot table. But I can delete this already because I already have this. I mean, it's okay. So I'm gonna delete this. Find the delete. So delete. Okay, it's okay. Because I already have that. So actually, I already made this up. So this is how it's gonna show up on the thing. So I have this one. I named the next one, though all of the diagnosis to this one. See, it has all of those counts, or it said count on mine, but they're all the same. It's count or sum. It's the same. It's gonna be the same on those kind of things. So see, they're all plotted over there, and it's just saying percentage of occurrence. And just like I said, the importance of putting all of those datas um, over here is for us, for the pivot table, to really know what the data needs to calculate. So once I finished all of those things, so this one, see, this one has the count all of the facilities over there. So yeah, all of this, it's counted already, and this will help us later on to answer our question. The next one is the nutritional thing. So this one, I counted how many per facility has, you know, recorded a nutritional BMI, both nutritional BMI for um, let's see, it's for both the nutritional BMI of reassessment and the other assessment also. So nutritional assessment and reassessment. So that's what it is for that. And say this one. So it's, again, it's gonna total up how many has this one. And then later on, I'm gonna show up how are you gonna answer the required analysis later on the word itself. But first, before we answer that one already, obviously we need to finish all of the data that we needed. So these are the data that I'm showing up. Again, I'm showing up. This is the percentage of how many have these diseases. It's gonna be computed. Then this one is how many has documented nutritional BMI, both the assessment and the reassessment. The next one is the next question, how many are documented for just nursing, how many are the one for only nutritional, the other one for both nursing and nutritional, the neither one, and those kind of things. The next one is, this one is for the BMI. How many has the BMI of 18.6? How many BMI of those 30.4? Those kind of things. And then this one is just for me, just like optional for me. It's just like for me to count how many people has those kind of things. But the important part in there is you're gonna see all of this one is all facilities. because that's what we're gonna help in answering the other questions in the required analysis. So, I mean, you can use that thing. It's like I said a while ago. Once you're already finished with looking for the things, one of the things that you can do is actually just hide the text that you don't need it. And now I think I'm done with it. So I can just go back to the things that the one that I hidden a while ago. So I can just um, unhide all of the things that I needed. I think I have to click this one. I'm gonna click this, and then I'm gonna say unhide because I know I have some unhides over here. Probably missing something. Sorry. Okay. I'm missing what? I'm missing all of the tables, but it's okay. But you should able to unhide all of the things that's missing over here. Sorry, I'm trying to do it as the way that we're doing it. Um, but supposed to be it's gonna show up. So again, it's like after hitting it, it's gonna show up the other one that's we hide already. So it's gonna show up. You're gonna it's you're able to figure it out. It's just gonna say you're gonna click this and just say unhide the columns that we hidden a while ago. So I think that's pretty much what we have in there. Once all of these things are plotted already, you have the data to answer the next questions. And another way to do it is how I found out all of these things. You need to be careful on the BMI part, by the way, because you're gonna look at this one. It's gonna show up some BMIs. It's like this is an example of the BMI. It's like on a nutritional. The other one's gonna show up the nursing and also. Just don't assume on this one that this one has a null. Always look up the. Make sure that not only that this one has a null. Always check on the other one. It's like this one. See, this one has a null on the nutritional reassessment, and also most of the time the nursing also have a null. But looking it up on the diagnosis, it has a BMI actually. So you need to be careful at that. Always look at the rows. It has a BMI over there, and then that's what time you're gonna plot that BMI. That BMI is on the 40, so I can plot it. Sorry, plot it on the 40 or higher. That's what it is. So that's what it is. It's gonna show up in there. And I hope you're still catching up on this one. And if case that you have a question, I can just answer your questions next time when we have time. And I know um, we have limited time, but it's okay. We are able to do that. So now, once we already had all of these questions answered or all of the data's inserted over here, now we can answer the required analysis. Now we're gonna transfer on this one. When we're looking at this number one, it's really ridiculous. I know that sometimes it's kind of confusing, but this is bear with me. This one is the answer that I did, and Dr. Mercado said it's okay. And the first question it said if there's a diagnosis associated with the BMI. Obviously, most of it has a diagnosis associated with the BMI. BMI saying that these are related. That means these diagnoses are related to the BMI. So most of them is saying that yes, this one has a morbid obesity because of the BMI is really high. And then this is the relevance of those things because for me it said how many calculate the percentage of this time. Of course, um, this is an overall, by the way. This is not per facility because the facility will be taken later on the part that is asking a number 8. So it's saying there on my thing, it showed up that I have 18% that has morbid obesity. How did I get that? Again, going back to what we said in there, and see, in calculated all of the facilities, the total of all of the facility percentage occurrence, it has 18. So pretty much since we're doing 100 patient, that's obviously 18 out of 100. So that's 18%. So that's my answer in there, 18%. And the same thing with the other one. And just like I said, most of the time you won't see overweight. Sometimes you won't see underweight in there, but most of the time you also gonna see this malnutrition. Obviously, mostly the protein related, and I have 4% for that. So pretty much you're just gonna plot those things from the pivot table you have. The next one is number two. For these records in which there's no diagnosis related to BMI, are there other diagnoses that could be associated with it? As like I answered again, yes, for most of it. It's just saying for me, how I understand it is you're gonna see it that way again. That because obviously, yes, most of it has the what it's saying in there, and then again, it's asking us for the percentage again. So again, it's the same way. It's like, looking at our diagnosis that has 46 in there because on my thing it said it has 46 in there. I have 46 over there. That's what on the hypertension. The next one is number three. So, what percentage of the time is there a nutritional assessment BMI without a diagnosis of this listed in 1A and 1E? So for me, it's 5%. How I did that again is like the easiest way. How we understand it is just saying you just gonna plot, or for me, I just put number one on most of the time that this diagnosis, this one to number one to eight, this one are not showing up. So he's saying that one of the patient has all of these things, but that this one doesn't show up. So those are the patient that you're gonna put number one on that column. That's saying that it has a nutritional BMI, but it doesn't have diagnosis like those one. I cannot find. Maybe I'll try to find. Let's see. It's gonna be easier for us to explain it that way. Um, let's see. Let's go in here. Let's make an example. Number three. Let's see if I have a number one in there. So this one has a number one. So this one, we're gonna look at it. Let's see. So see, this one has the diagnosis from now question number two because it has diabetes in there. There's other ones in there, but see, it doesn't have morbid obesity, malnutrition, and those kind of things. So those are the question, or those are the patient that you can put number one on it, and those kind of things. So this one, it has a BMI. See, it has a BMI, but it doesn't have a diagnosis that's coming from number one. So those are the things that you can plot and answer to this number three. Okay, number four. So what are the percentage that the time has the BMI documented by nursing only? So yeah, this one answered 54 because based on our things, it said here documentation has 54, and then the rest are the same thing, and it's just gonna answer by itself. So pretty much that's self-explanatory. You can figure that part out. Number five, it said what percentage of the patient have BMI less than 18.6? So again, we're going back on there, minus 2%. So that's the reason why you have the percentage. So you guys set in there. I don't have the things in there yet. It's just gonna total it up. So it's gonna total it up over there. So one and two. You're gonna count one and two. Actually, there's another way in there. I forgot to tell you. Um, you can do this one. So to sum it up, I forgot to add it actually. So to sum this part, some of them doesn't really sum it up. It's just count. So what you can do in there is you just put equals and then sum, open parentheses. Then we can just click on this one, and then we can do shift, then down, 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 down. So that means those are the cells that's gonna sum up. And then we're gonna do a shift, close parentheses, and we're gonna do enter. So see, it's gonna total it up. It's total it up. And then we don't really have to copy all of those formula again, but we want everything to be total up, right? So what we can do is go in here, try to find the black one. So it's gonna be black, and then we just gonna drag it up in here. And then this one, I'm gonna copy the formula and it's gonna total up everything in there. And this is the thing that we're gonna answer for the rest of the question. The rest of the question is asking for 18 point, what percentage have BMI less than for 8.6, and then what are associated malnutrition. And this one on the next question, so how many percent has diagnosis of underweight? Obviously, minus has 0. And you can actually just look it up based on the pivot table that you use. This one, what percentage has associated malnutrition? It's just saying that on all of those things that has 18.6, how many have malnutrition on those? So pretty much you're gonna populate it in there. Only look at those patients that has 18.6 BMI that you already have on the main sheet. So just like this one, let's look it up again. So you only look for the patient that has 18.6. So only look on those people that has 18.6. So again, let's look at it, this one. So this one, I don't have a lot at much in there, but you can see that if you look for some patient has 18.6, let's see where the patient has 18.6 in there. I don't have a lot actually. So it's easy for me. It's easy to actually look for these things. Just bear with me. So this one has 18.6. It's under 18.6. So now we're just gonna drag around and look at the rows that is adjacent to it. As this one has malnutrition associated with it, we just look at if there's malnutrition on diagnosis. If this one has a diagnosis, you count it. It's pretty much counted as 1. That means that on that 18.6 that has BMI, that means that has 1. See, I don't see any malnutrition in this one, so that means it's disregarded. But, oh, actually, this one has 1. So this one has that number 1, that my answer has number 1. That's why I got 1 there. I think the other one doesn't have associated malnutrition. So this is actually the only thing that I found. That's why it's 1%. Based on all of the patient has 18.6, I only found 1 that has a malnutrition on it. And it's the same thing with the other ones. You just look it up on the 30 based on the pivot table, and then look how many has obesity based that has 30 to 34.9 things, and those pretty much it. Again, so that's the part of it. Pretty much the other questions on number 5 is pretty much explanatory and it's easy. And then number 6, of those patients with obesity, BMI from either nursing or nutrition assessment, what person has MSRG of heart failure? So this one, it's actually a little bit more easier actually, because on this one, you go to the main thing again. Actually, a person that has heart failure actually is, you're gonna look at all of the patient is actually, it's actually those patient that has MSDRG of 293. So we just have to look up those patient has 293. So we can click on that, and then you can just deselect all. Then let's just go at 293. I remember, I think it's 293. It's okay. Okay, I think it's 293. See, all of this one has 293, but we're just gonna look at all of those one that has color in it. So it's just asking how many patient has heart failure. You're just gonna count. I mean, 1, 2, 3. Just like count all those things, and then look at those things. And that's actually the passer's way to look for the heart failure. It's like going to 293. And then look at diagnosis too, because it's how many has the diagnosis of heart failure on the secondary. That's the next question in there. Secondary diagnosis of heart failure. So this one, see, you're gonna see this one has nothing on it. This is secondary, and this one has heart failure. So that's one. We're gonna count 1, and then 2, 3, those kind of things. You're just gonna count all of these things that has secondary, because it's under diagnosis too, obviously. So that one has secondary. Diagnosis one is already, this one is heart failure. So that's how you answer number six. And then minus, this is what I answered there. Number seven is still going back to the pivot table. How many has greater than 60 BMI, and mine is just 1. And it's just based on the BMI again, on BMI from the pivot table. Next one is number eight. So this is where it goes very good because now we're gonna answer by facility. So first, you're gonna answer it by one of the diagnosis by diagnosis. First one is say asking for morbid obesity, and I have already all of my answers in there. But this is the relevance of the pivot table in there when we do it the way that I did it. Because looking at this way on my I named diagnosis documented percentages, see this one. If we look at the because these rows are pertaining all about the facilities, it's just gonna tell us how many the facility by facility. Just saying, okay, on facility A, how many have morbid obesity? Okay, so facility A has one. Facility B doesn't have anything. Facility C has three, and then that's one gonna answer that. See, it's gonna distinguish you how many per facility has those diagnosis, and it's easier. And then the last one, this one goes to number eight also, but it's on the last part later on, and that's what we're gonna do it on the other diseases to diagnosis. This is pretty much self-explanatory. You're just gonna look at those pivot based on the pivot table that we have, and the same thing with the nutritional assessment. You do it by facility because it's already created by facility, and now this is documented. And then the same thing with nursing. Sorry, and then this one, oh, the same thing. And this one is again Nairobi for the division as a whole. So that means it's a division by the whole. Pretty much the answer to this one is almost a number one already because we already plotted all of this information. So the sum of all of the facility, that means all of this facility, or this is the whole division per facility. So this is the total already. So you're gonna see that there's an 18 in there. So this is the whole. As a whole, as a division, has 18% on it, and then has 25 on this one. And the same thing with the other one. It's just gonna ask how many per the facility has that one minus 5% because that's what they answered on me nursing facility, and it's gonna answer pretty much what it is. And that's pretty much it. Actually, this the once you actually master this part of the pivot table, again it's like getting over 100 patient, deleting all of the irrelevant things in there by clicking on the number, and it's gonna have the black arrow or white arrow on you. Just right click on it and just say delete row. And it's just because you don't need those things, you just only need those things that has highlighted. That's why it's important to highlight. Once you have the 100 patient, you have all of these things. If you're gonna follow what I did, it's like plot all of the things that has those diagnoses. Pretty much your pivot table will actually got, it's just gonna pre-populate everything that you needed to answer this question. This at first, this is actually a little bit hard because you're gonna do it manually, but at least we have all of this documented information that we needed, because this is what we're doing. Actually, we're trying to look for data to analyze data, and once you have all of this pivot table done by pre-populating it, um, that's pretty much it. Again, it's like I'm saying, it's like how you do it is like you just click on somewhere, I guess, and then command A or control A, and then go insert again, and then just do pivot table, and then it's gonna choose the whole cell already, and then just go create a new worksheet, and it's gonna make worksheet like this. And I made four because it's easier for me to look for all of these things. It's more distinguished. I'm just gonna press cancel because I already have those other things, and all of the pivot tables gonna be done. So pretty much that's what I have for you, and I hope this will help you out. This is what I did, and I hope Dr. Mercado attend to this. He said it's okay. This one is right, and pretty much I think Ms. Cynthia will actually say that this is also right. Other than that, if you have other question, I might you can just text me, you can email me, you know my email address. And this video is can be, I think I'm gonna send it to you if you needed it, or I'm gonna send it to Dr. Mercado. Dr. Mercado will share it to us. And that's pretty much it for me. And if you have any question, I said just holler at me if I have time. If I'm not at work, I'm gonna answer your question, I'm gonna help you out, or we can set up a Zoom meeting. You can see your batch number and gonna do it. So I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching this, and God bless us all. And hopefully you can finish this subject and this project. I know this is hard, but we can do this together. So that's it. Thank you very much. And this is made in my YouTube. So if this one is actually something that help you out, I appreciate if you like or subscribe to my channel. And this will help me out. Thank you very much and have a great day again. Bye.